So now if you've been watching MSNBC, their coverage of the IG report or of impeachment or first of all, they have someone who used to be the mouthpiece for torturers and war criminals. They're their anchor, Nicole Wallace. This is amazing, right? And so now listen to how she talks about how Nancy Pelosi is such a genius. They love doing this. They love, again, Russiagate was walls are closing in, right? Walls are closing in. The writing's on the wall.
The end is near?
The end is near. And that was catnip for MSNBC viewers. And then the walls never closed in. The Mueller report landed. It was a big dud, and it was all over, and their ratings went in the tank. And now they're doing impeachment, and they're doing it again. And so they're trying to make you think that Nancy Pelosi is a genius. And, she's going to get him. Nancy Pelosi's outsmarting Trump at every move, except Trump's getting everything he ever wanted. And how do I... Well, here, let's watch this.
But I think Frank Figliuzzi here would agree she could double as someone with a degree in psyops. I mean, she has gotten under his skin in the category of diminishing him, making him look and feel smaller, and really checkmating him on the politics by narrowing the articles to two undeniable facts: that he abused his power and then he proudly pounds his chest over obstructing this investigation. Take us inside whether or not that was debated, and how she landed on sort of keeping this squarely in the undeniable, indisputable range in terms of the facts that have emerged.
Well, the president is used to dealing with congressional leaders who bend to his will and cater to his whims. And Nancy Pelosi doesn't do that. She's steely. She looks straight ahead and kind of barrels through any problems and
So keep that in mind. Nancy Pelosi she doesn't bend to Trump's will. He's used to dealing with people who bend his will. She doesn't. She's very steely. And she gets under Trump's skin like that, and she just diminishes him. That's what MSNBC's story is about Nancy Pelosi. That's them gaslighting their own viewers. And who do they hire to do it? One of the biggest gaslighters ever, somebody who lied for a torturer and a war criminal, George Bush. That was her job. She was the mouthpiece of a war criming organization. This is from Roll Call. Democrats got completely rolled in NDAA talks. From Roll Call. The NDAA, National Defense Authorization Act. That's the defense budget. You know how we were spending $500 billion at the height of the Iraq War, and now we're spending $730-something billion, which is over a 40% increase? In the military, since the height of the Iraq War, it should be going the other way. We've exploded it. At the same time, the homeless population's exploded, right? And our suicides and all our OxyContin deaths are happening. Democrats got completely rolled. Well, here we go. The final defense authorization measure for the current fiscal year represents a victory for Republicans. I thought Nancy Pelosi was steely and gets under skins and diminishes the president. Despite the widespread Democratic opposition to the $735 billion NDAA produced by House and Senate conferences, Congress is expected to send the fiscal 2020 legislation to the White House as soon as this week. Republicans are generally pleased with the outcome, after having fiercely resisted the earlier version written in the Democratic-controlled House. In fact, in a stunning reversal of the norm, not a single House Republican voted for the massive Pentagon policy measure on the floor in July. So when Nancy Pelosi came up with her thing, she couldn't get one Republican to go along with it. Not one. And so what did she do? She then rolled over for them. With the specter of a possible Trump veto looming over the conference on the House and Senate bills, and the congressional Republicans standing united, the conference committee laid waste to a long list of progressive provisions that were either in the House bill or that the Democrats had wanted added to the final product. So the Democrats have spineless again, just like our previous story with Bernie and Cenk, completely spineless, rolling over. And here they are. The Republicans stay united. The Democrats caved. What was the point of voting for Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats to take over the House? They're caving at every turn. The things that they got, they laid waste to, these included everything from tougher regulations on toxic chemicals in drinking water on military bases to anti-discrimination protections for transgender troops to restrictions on Trump's attempts to use military money to build barriers on the U.S.-Mexico border, and much more. Hey, how about the idea the Democrats propose we cut the budget? Have you heard that happening? We take $100 billion out of the military and we give it to homeless people and students? No. Again, they can't oppose Trump on substance like his military budget, because if the Democrats did, they'd be opposing the establishment, which they represent. They represent Raytheon. They represent Boeing, and they represent Wall Street, and they represent Big Pharma. That's why the Democrats have to oppose Trump on Russiagate and a phone call to Ukraine. Because if they oppose him on this, their donors would get mad at them. A coalition of 31 liberal organizations representing disarmament, human rights, and other causes said in a statement Tuesday that the NDAA outcome is a near-complete capitulation in checking the Trump administration's military priorities. Nancy Pelosi, complete capitulation. I thought she was steely. Trump's never dealt with someone like her. She's diminished him. Complete capitulation. Do you see how MSNBC is just a gaslighting, lying organization, and they're doing a disservice to our country worse than Fox News? In a statement, Pocan, so this is Pocan is the co-chair of the Progressive Caucus in the House. And he said that he called for a national conversation. He called for a national conversation on repeated increases to defense spending. How about you propose a budget that cuts the fucking spending instead of having a conversation? Pocan, how about you do that? How about you actually get your progressives together to not vote for this? He calls for a national conversation on repeated increases to the national defense spending, noting that Congress has boosted the Pentagon's budget $131 billion during Trump's first term. Hey, how about you ask that to Nancy Pelosi? Why don't you ask her to have a conversation? Are you allowed to have a conversation with the woman you voted for Speaker? Why don't you have a conversation with her? Because if you had a national conversation, you know what that conversation is. Everybody in the goddamn country would say, cut the goddamn military spending and get out of those wars. That's what they would say. But Pocan is also beholden to Nancy Pelosi. So he's not criticizing Nancy Pelosi. And this is why it's a fool's errand to shepherd progressives into the Democratic Party. Do you see what the Democrats are doing? At the same time that this is Pocan, at the same time that this administration has cut food stamps, Medicaid, and reproductive health services from everyday Americans, this president wants to add more than $100 billion to continue endless and unauthorized wars, bans transgenders troops, keep Guantanamo Bay open, allow the unchecked contamination of water supplies, and establish a space force. And guess what? Your leadership went along with that. The Democratic Party signed off on all of that. Gave Trump everything he wanted. After you all supported Nancy Pelosi as your speaker. Ro Khanna issued a joint statement with Vermont Independent Senator Bernie Sanders calling the final agreement a bill of astonishing moral cowardice that the Democrats passed. They always leave that part out. That Nancy Pelosi, who you voted for as speaker, passed without any pushback. Likewise, Joe Ciricione, a former House Armed Services staffer, who is now president of the non-proliferation organization Plowshares Fund, he said in a tweet Monday that the House Democrats got completely rolled. Nancy Pelosi's a master legislator. She got completely rolled by Trump. House Democratic leadership has a lot of explaining to do on why they caved on every single national security policy. Looks weak, he said.
What, they couldn't impeach him and stand up for Americans
No, I
at
guess
the
they
same
could,
time?
I guess they could impeach him, but they just can't stand up to the military-industrial complex. Yet Adam Smith, the Washington Democrat who chairs the House Armed Services Committee and who led the House conferences, has seemed resigned to losing so many battles in conference and recently suggested it was the product of political reality. So this guy, Adam Smith, he's the Washington Democrat who chairs our House Armed Services Committee. He's supposed to fight against Trump. And what he's saying is like, you can't. It's just a political reality. You just got to accept what the military-industrial complex wants. It's funny the Republicans and conservatives never have to roll over and accept. It's always the Democrats. Isn't that something? Maybe it's because the Democrats are actually a conservative party, which they are. I've been told consistently over the course of the last 2 or 3 months that I just have to negotiate harder, Smith said. This is the Democrat at the Armed Services Committee who just got rolled, and he's complaining that he's been told consistently over the course of the last 2 or 3 months that he's been told to negotiate harder. I was like, can I do that? How does that work exactly? Can you spell that out to me? He doesn't even know how he can stand up to them. Do you see what so this is his excuse for getting completely rolled. His excuse is, how do you stand up to the Republicans if you have a majority? You're in the majority, fuckface. You can't stand up to Trump? No. You know why? Because standing up to Trump would be standing up to Raytheon and Boeing and Wall Street, and they ain't going to do that. And so he pretends like it's undoable. That's what Adam Smith is. That's what this is. I'll read it to you. He says, I was like, can I do that? How does that work exactly? Can you spell that out to me? Do I hold my breath? Do I physically attack? They are where they are, okay? And you have to respect that. He's saying, we're powerless to do anything, even though we're in the majority in the House. What are we supposed to do? The Republicans won't budge. So what we do is we budge. We always roll over, and we pretend it's like we can't do anything else, that our hands are tied, when it's really we're corrupt to our core, and we serve the establishment, the same establishment that Trump is serving with this bill, and we're serving them too. But vote blue no matter who. We've got a supermajority in California of Democrats and a Democratic governor, and our country and our state looks like it's run by right-wingers. We don't have Medicare for all, 5th largest economy in the world. We have a bigger economy than Russia. We don't have Medicare for all. We don't have free college. We used to. There are people sleeping under every bridge in this goddamn city. Also gone from the final bill is a House-passed requirement that Congress authorize any war on Iran. So they were trying to say that if Trump wants to go to war with Iran, we have to first authorize it in Congress, which is already the goddamn law. And the Democrats rolled over on that. We'll let Trump start a war with Iran. This is sickening. This is beyond sickening. This is beyond Nancy Pelosi being bad at her job or corrupt. This is a whole nother level. While people are sleeping under bridges and dying because they can't afford their diabetes medicine, their insulin, while we're in 7, 8, 9 wars, the Democrats are giving $131 billion more dollars to Trump for war, who they say is a traitor working for Putin.
You know, Jimmy, when I think about Nancy Pelosi saying that I'm a master legislator, she's a master legislator for the other team.
That's right.
How disturbing is that?
Also excluded is a mandate that the EPA regulate PFAS on military bases as a hazardous substance. which would have triggered cleanup efforts under the Superfund law. That's gone. Speaker Nancy Pelosi and House Majority Leader Steny Hoyer said in a statement Monday that they were disappointed the conference dropped that provision. Boy, if only you knew somebody who could do something about it, huh, Nancy? You coward. You corrupt coward. Meanwhile, the bill does not, as Democrats hoped it would, reverse Trump's ban on transgender people joining the military. They voted for a bill that bans transgender people from the military. That's what the Democrats just did. And guess what happened right after that? To show you how brainwashed the left is from watching MSNBC. After that, a coalition of LGBTQ organizations issued a statement blaming Republicans for the outcome and thanking the Democrats. You can't make this stuff up. You cannot make this stuff up. They thank the Democrats for Nancy Pelosi, the Speaker of the House, voting for a bill and passing a bill that bans transgender people from serving.
You know, he got everything he wanted, and you're telling me that there's some sort of group out there that's working against Donald Trump in Washington? They're all in lockstep, and the people are the ones who are making the real sacrifices again and again and again and again. So all I feel, Jimmy, is this is outrageous when you were showing it to me, and then okay, you're going to show the people who voted against it. Fantastic.
So here's the people who voted against it. You ready? I'm going to show you. Okay, Bass, Blumenauer, Buck, Judy Chu. Can you believe she voted against? Good for her.
I'm proud of her.
Proud of her.
Nice work, Judy.
Clark, Cohen, Danny Davis. It just says K. I don't know what that is. DeFazio.
No, it's Danny K.
Danny K. Davis. That's what that is?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. I'm dumb.
No.
DeSaulnier, DeFazio, DeJetti, DeSaulnier, Dingle, Doyle, Michael F. That's Michael
Angle.
F. Michael F. Doyle, and then Angle, and then Esplat, Tulsi Gabbard. On the right side,
Gabbard.
Tulsi Gabbard voting against NDAA. You know, it's just funny to me. I was talking to somebody on the phone yesterday, and they were like, you know, some people have problems because she's a soldier. And I'm like, yeah, but she was a medic. And then they're like, yeah, but she still supports the military. And I'm like, she's an anti-war vegan. That's not fucking left enough for you?
I mean, I just want to stop really quickly about her being a medic. She's still continuing to help people in the most, I think it's courageous. Anyways, I gotcha.
Garcia, Illinois, Gomert, Gomez, Griffith, Gravalia. Oh, that's good. He's the lead. Huffman, Jayapal, good. Kennedy, Rokana, Kildee, Lee, Levin, Lowenthal, Massey, McClintock, McGovern, Meng, Nadler, Napolitano, Negussi, Ocasio-Cortez, Omar. That's good. Look at this. This is all good. Pocan, voted against it. Good. Presley voted against it. Good for her. Raskin, Rice, Shawoski. Oh, I know. Schakowsky. I know her. Talib. Good for Tonko, Velasquez, Watson, Coleman, and Welch. They all voted against it.
And the ones that are italicized, rather, those are the Republicans.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Yes.
Okay. So mostly Democrats voting against it.
Yes.
So that's good. Huh. So what they did was they got just enough Democrats to pass it, is what that always happens. So like when they want to deregulate Wall Street, Chuck Schumer will find just enough Democrats in the Senate to vote for it to make it pass. You're right. And so when they want to get fast track judges in the Senate, Chuck Schumer will find just enough Democrats to help fast track the judges.
So Jimmy, I was reading defensenews.com.
Yeah.
And the representative from New Jersey, Tom Malinowski, he's quoted by saying, "Number one, I'm a pro-defense Democrat."
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Why would you be that? Why? What does that get you? But so there's no anti-war party. There's no party that opposes defense spending. right?
Doesn't make you a patriot, by the way.
Right. Doesn't make the government's been lying to us about the wars constantly. We just did a story about that. 18 years, every administration has lied to us about Afghanistan. Obama, Bush, and Trump, they all lied about Afghanistan continuously and repeatedly. So, but you're still pro defense. Stop being stupid. But I'm glad he voted against this. So that's good. What does he say? I'm pro defense.
He says, I'm number one. I'm a pro defense Democrat, and I want to support our troops.
Okay.
Blah, blah,
and I want to
blah.
repeat this thing the military-industrial complex has us repeating all the times, which actually doesn't mean anything, which means I support the troops, which means nothing. That actually doesn't mean anything. I support the troops, which means I don't want to be critical of war. That's what that means. That's what the military-industrial complex has put in your mouth. Congrats. Okay. So there you go. So great. That's nice. So how many is that? How many voted against it?
Isn't it 48 or something?
Okay. Okay.
It is. It's actually 48 nays.
Okay. Not voting, Berrigan, Hunter, Ted Lieu. Why wouldn't Ted Lieu vote on that? Rooney and Serrano. So 3 Democrats, 3 Republicans didn't vote on that.
Why Ted Lieu?
Why didn't Ted Lieu? Don't you support the troops, Ted Lieu? Are you a Russian? Is Ted Lieu a Russian?
I'm gonna type it up. See if
is Ted Lieu being boosted by the Russians? Why wouldn't you vote for the defense bill, Ted Lieu? Is it Russia? Did Russia get to you, Ted? I wouldn't doubt it. I wonder why they wouldn't vote for that. Why wouldn't you vote for that? Russia didn't get to you? Obviously, Russia got to Ted Lieu on this, right? I mean, I don't know. We have as much evidence as he has about Russia and Russiagate. But that never stopped him. Why should it stop us? Oh, that's right, because we're not fucking douchebags. Become a premium member and get hours of bonus material every week. Go to jimmydorecomedy.com/join. Also, come see our live shows. We do live shows all the time. We're going to be in Hawaii. Then we're going to Portland, Tempe, Sacramento, San Jose, Miami. Go to jimmydorecomedy.com for a link for all the tickets for all of our live shows. See you soon.